everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about storage inside the van. So if you've been following along with the series of videos, you know that I'm taking this Ford Transit, right, and we're converting it into a camper van setup. But actually, maybe the more aptly named descriptor would be an adventure van, not really a camper van. I mean, it is true that I've set it up so that we have camping and beds and tables and stuff like that in the back, but we're not living in this van full time, right? It's mostly an adventure setup so that we can easily go places with the kids and then camp for 1 or 2 nights if we want. So with that being said, as you can expect, what that means is we have permanent seats here for the kids, and over here on the far side, on the driver's side in this rear bench, this seat is usually left just kind of open because sometimes Allison likes to come sit back here with the kids, or sometimes we have another passenger that needs to sit here. But long story short, we need to keep this space here set up for transporting people. So I don't want to set up any permanent cabinets or anything like that here. So however, when we get to a campsite, right, we pretty much spend all of our time in the back of the van. And this right here, this seat where a person usually sits, stays pretty empty and it's kind of wasted space. So the game plan for today is I want to look to see if there's a way that we can basically hang, I'm going to try to hang a curtain rod from the front of my TV kind of on top of my fire extinguisher, extend it backwards to somewhere kind of maybe above the sink, something like that, so that I can now hang some hanging baskets or storage compartments or other items like jackets or whatnot, or ski goggles, anything like that, and use this space here as a storage sort of facility once we get to camp. And the other situation where this might be useful is if you're out in the snow or in the rain and you've got a bunch of wet or damp clothes, you need some place to store that, and the current situation that we use doesn't really work. Okay, so let me show you the problem first with our drying situation. So here you go. We just actually got back from a overnight trip skiing. We were camping in the parking lot of the mountain, and as you can see, we've got junk everywhere. We've got gloves hanging up. We've got ski pants. We've got all this other stuff everywhere. Yeah, this guy is just hanging around being totally wet. So it's difficult right now to basically try to dry all your gear when you just have places like the back of chairs and things like that to hang stuff. All right, so we want to hang this this curtain rod here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop a piece of paracord down, and this is going to go up through the headliner. So I've actually removed the headliner and just shifted it away so that I can get access to this cross brace bar in the ceiling. So again, if you're interested in how I took this headliner off, I actually made a dedicated video for taking the headliner out of the van. You can get to it by clicking on the card in the upper right. But long story short, once you get the headliner off, you can see that there is this cross brace bar that I can use to drop the piece of paracord down. So you can see I basically fished the line over to there. All right, so that's coming down, and here's where I'm going to hang the rod from. So the way I'm going to get this paracord to stay is I've actually run the cable through the cross brace bar out to this kind of larger hole here. And then on the end of it, I've basically tied a giant washer on it. So I'm going to pull the cable through this end, and I'm just going to let the washer basically work its way through the cross brace bar, and it's just going to get stuck out there where the cable, where the paracord exits the cross brace bar. So that's the plan of attack. Maybe one other thing I'll do right now is I'm going to actually wrap this washer with some duct tape, just so that in case things are rattling around, I'm not going to have metal on metal clanging inside that bar. So give me a second to wrap this up, and then I will pull it through, and hopefully we should have a pretty secure spot to tie the curtain rod to. All right, so to attach the front of the closet rod to the front of the vehicle, I'm actually going to attach it to, this is my stand that I've made for my entertainment and other kind of subsystems here. And there's a wooden bar that I installed up here. So what I did is I went ahead and 3D printed this pole holder, which has a sort of little nubbin right here, and then I drilled out a small mating hole on the bottom of the rod. So what this is going to do is this is going to just snap right in like such, and then that hole is going to mate, and then this way this rod can't move forward or aft. So okay, there we go. All right, so the front is in. Let's go ahead and tie the rear down. All right, so here you go. We've got the rod pretty much installed. I did 3D print this little plastic cap on the edge so that when you're sitting here on the bench and you turn over, you don't poke your eye out, but otherwise, seems pretty reasonable. Let's go ahead and test this out. So for example, now that we've got this set up, I can hang things like jackets up. Yep, that'll work. And then actually the thing I'm most excited about is I actually got one of these crazy like shoe holders. Let me see if I can hook this on. You can see what it's doing. There we go. So perfect. So there we go. So now we've got some extra storage for, you know, dirty clothes or laundry or any other kind of nooks and crannies over there on the side. Yeah, so this is doing pretty reasonable. It's a little wiggly here in the back. I'll show you that, you know, obviously since we're just suspending it here with this paracord, that the whole thing, it definitely can move. But for the most part, I think this will be totally fine. It's just going to rock a little bit back and forth, but it seems stable enough. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we can hang on this rod. All right, so the curtain rod is doing great. Check it out. See, we're actually out in the mountains doing a little bit of winter camping. So I've hung a bunch of stuff on it. As you can see, kind of right here is this kitchen hood, which is used for cooking. If you're interested in this, I've actually got a dedicated video on it. Feel free to get to it by clicking on the card in the upper right. What else? I've got my Mr. Buddy heater hanging off of this. Again, I 3D printed some more brackets to hold a bunch of junk. So you can see I've got some custom brackets for the heater. If you're interested in those brackets, I'll also link to my Thingiverse page where you can download them and print them yourselves. I've just got my other, you know, clothes and that shoe organizer, which I'm actually using as sort of a cubby for more clothes storage. And long story short, I think it's working great so far. We drove it up here in a pretty bumpy environment and nothing fell off of the curtain rod, so pretty happy. It's working. It's making it a ton better in terms of organization in the van. So now I don't have all of these clothes strewn about, and used to be I would just hang them over the back of the seats here, but this is a much better system. So like I said, the curtain rod is working out pretty awesome so far. All right, so there you have it. For us, this turned out to be a pretty darn easy way to add some fairly flexible space and storage in the van. As you can see right now, I've got a lot of the kids' ski jackets and things like that. I've got shoes, electronics, pants and shirts stuffed over there. So this holds quite a lot of equipment and gets it out of the way. In fact, I even, as you can kind of see, you can even put things like oven range hoods mounted to this closet rod. And again, this has been going for over a year and hasn't really given me any problems. The other added benefit is obviously all of that stuff can come out if we need to haul an extra person and turn this back into a seat for people. So like I said, I think this has worked out very well for us. I plan on keeping it permanently installed in the van, and I hope this helps give you some ideas for storage inside your camper or RV. So I guess with that being said, I think this is probably a great spot to leave it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, I also hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. Surprisingly, if you just scroll a little ways down and click on that subscribe button, it really does help me continue making these videos. Another way you can support the channel is via Patreon. I do want to take a moment to thank some of our existing patrons. The nice thing about the Patreon method is that 100% of the proceeds that the channel receives via Patreon is going to be directed towards K through 12 science, engineering, and adventures for kids and young adults. So, oh, speaking of the new videos, I should also mention those come out every Monday, so I hope you'll consider joining me at one of these future discussions and we can all learn something new together. So until then, I think I'll sign off. Talk to you later. Bye.